Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, shout out to my main man, 50 grand, Felix Verdejo. You guys thought he was dead. You guys thought he would be done because of the motorcycle accident, but negative. Felix Verdejo, according to BoxingScene.com, is still the WBO mandatory and is expected to be back in the ring in the first quarter of next year. Now, Carl Moretti, who is the VP of Boxing Operations at Top Rank, told BoxingScene.com, I quote, that Verdejo will fight in the first quarter of next year. Now, as you guys may or may not know, before the motorcycle accident, Felix Verdejo was actually supposed to fight Terry Flanagan, who's the current WBO champion at lightweight, on the Manny Pacquiao-Vargas undercard. But the motorcycle accident derailed that, and he's kind of had to wait longer now. And look, to be honest, coming into this year, you know, if you go back and you look at maybe December of last year, if you were to ask a lot of people in the boxing world, you know, of the young fighters who are not world champions yet, who do you think has a chance to break out this year and become a superstar? I guarantee you, if you took a poll last November, with the way he was fighting and knocking out dudes, it would be very easy to say that Felix Verdejo would have been that guy. But I was actually at one of his fights this year on the Terrence Crawford, Hank Lundy undercard. He fought William Silva, the tall Brazilian. That was just one of the first of many disappointing performances this year. A lot of people were disappointed with all of his fights this year. And look, for Felix, he's a young guy. You know, you gotta be honest with yourself. You know, Felix is a young fighter. When you fast track any fighter, it's very seldom that you know that these guys are gonna look great every fight. And to be honest, I feel like Felix, because people saw so many knockouts earlier, that now that he's not knocking people out, he's being looked down upon. And I think, to be honest, looking at when I watch Felix fight, I think his style, he is more of a boxer first than a puncher. He is a boxer puncher, but I feel like within him being a boxer puncher, he's like 80% boxer, and he has punching power, and that's where the other 20% comes in. I feel like Felix, before he goes up and fights Terry Flanagan, which I think he can beat him, but before he fights Terry Flanagan, he's gonna need a tune-up fight just to kick the rust off, because he hasn't been in the ring since, let me check, he hasn't been in the ring in quite some time, because I know it's been a while, probably since June, July, because his name hasn't been in the news too much, but he hasn't been in the ring since June 11th, and that was on the Rocky Martinez Lomachenko undercard. So ideally for Felix, you would like to see him, you know, get back to his winning ways, but not just winning ways. The way he was wowing people last year with the knockouts, with the flashy combinations, with all that stuff. You don't want to see that guy come back. The guy that we saw this year, I don't know if it was the mental pressure of being, to be honest, because when you look at the landscape of Puerto Rican fighters, like, you know, you have your Danny Garcias of the world, but a lot of people don't even look at him as like the guy who is carrying the flag of Puerto Rican boxing. And then, you know, Cotto's fading away, his career is almost over. So, and Pritchard Colon's in a coma. So when you look at it, right, there's a lot of pressure on Felix Verdejo to deliver and be like that star of Puerto Rican boxing, because he's represented Puerto Rico at the Olympic Games. That holds a lot of weight. He proved himself to be a knockout puncher as he was coming up, but hasn't really shown that as he stepped up in class. So Felix has to get back to being sensational, and picking up that title against Terry Flanagan would be a great first step towards that. But I would take a tune-up first. But that's the news, guys. Felix Verdejo, guy I'm a big fan of, but just hasn't been really relevant. But I'm a big fan of him, you know, being that I'm 50% Puerto Rican. You know, I want to see him do well. Hopefully he can get back to his winning ways in a sensational way, because he underwhelmed a lot this year. But that's the news. Felix Verdejo expected to actually fight in the first quarter next year. And in fact, if you go to his box rec, he's scheduled a fight on March 17th, which if I'm not mistaken, is supposed to be the pro debut for Michael Conlan, the Irish fighter in the Olympics who flicked out the judges. So I'm pretty sure I'll be on that card. It'll be somewhere like Madison Square Garden, the small room. And who knows, maybe you might catch your boy BT out there in New York City for that one. So we'll see what happens, man. But Felix Verdejo expected to fight next year early on. And I'm looking forward to seeing LD Diamante get back to the ring, man. I got a chance to interview him this year. I still think at 23 he has a lot of talent. And with the fights he's got under his belt, while a couple of them haven't been, well, the last couple haven't been that sensational, he's still getting that valuable experience. And if he uses it right, I feel like he could go very far in this sport and be a star for Puerto Rican boxing. We'll see, man. He's definitely got a long way to go. And mentally he's going to be tested coming into this 2017. So we'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Genius. So until next time, take care, guys.